happens when you let the ball do it.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Good.
All right, questions for Coach.
James, you were looking to see you guys get in front of a crowd.
I like that hoodie.
Thank you, appreciate it. What did you make of the defense and the offense coming out of that performance in front of the crowd?
Yeah, I thought we got exactly what we wanted to get out of it in terms of our first scrimmage of the year. We got a ton of reps, a ton of situations covered. Today it happened again. We got wet ball work, which is really valuable. We always schedule practice based on the Farmer's Almanac. I make that joke with the players. They look at me like I got 5 heads, but it is really good work for us. And then in front of the fans, it does create a different element. I want to thank you guys. From everything Chris and Greg said, it seemed like everybody handled it well. Looked like the fans handled it well in terms of the rules. So we'd like to continue to build on that. So I thought it was a real positive. Obviously, we got to make sure we're throwing the ball enough, because on a wet day we focused on running the ball, and we need to be able to throw the ball to win as well as run the ball to win. And when you become one-dimensional, that's not what we want and who we want to be. But either way, it was really good work and really good film.
When you talk about throwing the ball, you've had Dante Cephas in practice for a little bit more than a week now and in pads. How has he come along, and what's been your impressions of him at this juncture?
Yeah, I think it's been good. He's a proven commodity. He's done it in games before against really good competition. I would say we got a group of guys that we knew coming into this fall camp, guys in the current program that had gotten better, some new guys coming in. I would say it's one of those deals where there's a different guy or maybe a different 2 guys every day that's flashing. And I wouldn't say anybody has really kind of separated themselves from the pack yet. But I do think there's a large group of guys that can play in games and we can win with. You'd like for somebody to separate themselves from the pack a little bit more.
James, obviously a lot of talk about Nick Singleton nationally, but maybe not as much about Kaytron. How have you seen him progress through the summer and now in camp?
We think we got 2 number 1 backs. That's how we treat them internally. I think the local media and the local fans and our team know how special he is. They're really good complementary pieces, because although they're both big backs, they have different running styles. I think real football people nationally know all about him. And I know how much our fans and our team and I know how much you guys as a media respect him as well. So we love him. He continues to get better. He did some great things today. I think he's going to have a big year for us.
James, how do you balance kind of being safe with a guy like Olu, a talent like that, and maybe not repping him as much, with making sure that he's ready for the season? And also, what sort of opportunities does that open up for some of your younger kids that you can get a longer look at them?
Yeah, I think you really don't make the modifications like we're making with Olu unless a guy is like just truly, a proven commodity. And the reality is, although you guys saw the modifications in a live scrimmage that were dramatic, the daily reps that he's getting, he's getting thousands of reps. So he's still developing, he's still getting better. From everything that I know and have talked to, he was being projected as a first rounder. I want to do everything we can to help him become a top 10 pick, which I think he is, in terms of not only a player, but a franchise guy in terms of how he goes about his business. The guy wants to be great in everything he does. He wants more reps. He's fighting with us for more reps. So he's going about it the right way, and he's practicing his tail off. It also is super valuable. The iron sharpens iron in terms of him and Chop going against each other every day, him and Adisa going against each other every day, him and Denai going against each other every single day. And the other area where he's getting the live work is the one-on-one pass rush that we do, that is truly live, but it's a controlled environment, if that makes sense. So I feel really good about the plan that we have for him. And he's one of these guys, he's wired so right that he wouldn't misinterpret or take it the wrong way, and he'll still maximize the reps he's getting.
What about the guy to his right, Landon? We haven't seen him. Any updates on him?
Yeah, Landon's got some bumps and bruises he's dealing with right now. As you guys know, I don't get into injuries.
In terms of just health overall, you mentioned last week, I think the phrase you were able to two-spot and get different team groups.
Say it one more time, I'm sorry.
I think the phrase you used last week was two-spotting, where you're able to get different groups.
Yes,
going.
sir.
So just in terms of overall health about, I guess, the middle of camp, how do you feel like that is?
Yeah, I thought we'd only be able to do that for about a week. We're still doing it. It's been huge. The thing that's been dramatic is we went back and studied the numbers. Our 3s and 4s, I think, have already doubled the reps that they got all last camp. So that's been really valuable from the development of our entire roster, and you just don't know how long you're gonna be able to sustain it. We've been able to sustain it, and it's gone well. It sounded like you were gonna say something else.
No, just in terms of overall health at this point at camp. Do you like where you're at?
Yeah, really good. You know, obviously there's 2 guys everybody's talking about the D-line. The one guy's been hurt since spring, just no one ever has asked me about him. That's not new for us. Like Smith had this injury, I don't know, 6 months ago. So that's not anything new for us. It just came out publicly. But yeah, it's still a point. I think he's got a really bright future. I'm super proud of Smith. Graduated on Saturday. His family was up here, which was great. So now it's the plan of getting him ready to have a huge year next year and get a second degree, which is phenomenal.
Are you ready to name a starting quarterback?
No, sir. I'm not. No one's asked me about the starting guard or starting Mike linebacker or starting safety, starting kicker. No, we haven't announced any of those yet.
James Harrison is a guy who flashed a lot last season, liked what he did in spring. Has he been as consistent, and then what has he shown you so far?
Yeah, really, Trey and Keandre, I think, are proven commodities for us in games as well as in practice. And again, I think there's a group that we feel really good about, but I would say those 2 guys, in terms of being assignment sound, in terms of being able to make the routine play, being able to make the big play, I think there's a lot of confidence in those 2. And again, I think there's a lot of confidence in that other group. There's just nobody that's separated on a consistent basis.
James, you guys talked a lot about Theo Johnson's leadership in the spring. How have you seen that evolve heading into fall camp, and where has he made the biggest strides on the field?
Yeah, I think Theo, talking to the guys on the team as well as our strength coaches, it's obvious that was important to him, and that he took the next step. You talk to the players, you talk to the strength staff, like he was a strong leader all summer, both through actions and verbally. So he's been really good from that perspective, and we need that. We really do. We had some strong voices last year, so that's going to be important for us, and he's done a nice job of it all offseason.
What kind of preseason has Kobe King had? He's somebody that looks
really good. Yeah, really good. Again, I think almost like we have at the tailback situation. We got 2 guys that we think are really good tailbacks on a national scale. And we feel the same way at linebacker. I think with Kobe being younger than Elsdon in terms of eligibility, all those reps that he got this spring, I think were really beneficial. And then Tamir and Keon Wiley have also been able to get some reps there as well. But he's had a really good, really good summer and a really good training camp. He's leaner than what he's been. You look at him, he's like a ball of muscle. So it was hard because getting his weight down, his body fat's so low that's challenging. So I think he's right around 239 right now, which I think is a really good weight for him. He's moving well, he's confident, he knows the defense, he's got command of the defense. He's playing fast and aggressive because of his confidence in himself and the defense.
James, the tight end position, beyond those 2 guys who are established in Big Ten play, what's happening there in that 3rd spot? It's been pretty important for you in years past.
Yeah, I think Khalil Dinkins has had an unbelievable off-season in the weight room. Still got to put a few pounds on. I think it's important for all those guys to be 250 or above. He's got to resolve that. But you talk to our defensive players, they feel like he's one of our better blockers. He can really run. I know talking to Theo this summer, he was giving Theo a run for his money in some of the speed work. He's really matured and grown up, and he had a phenomenal summer academically, which is probably where I'm as proud of him as anything. So, we anticipate him, being that number 3. Again, we haven't made any decisions on it yet, but he's working like it. And then there's a bunch of other guys that we're excited about, young players, that are competing.
You mentioned earlier about not wanting to be one-dimensional. What do you kind of want to see from the pass game more? A couple weeks left in camp that maybe you haven't seen already.
No, that was more specific to that one day. I've been pleased, talking to Terry Smith and Coach Poindexter. They feel like our receivers have really taken a step and are much more competitive and more challenging for our DBs. We got, as you guys know, we got really good DBs, and it has been a battle every single day. So I was talking more specific, to the scrimmage the other day. But in general, obviously, we want to throw for a high percentage. We want to throw a ton of touchdowns. We want to limit interceptions. One of the things I talked to the quarterbacks about is, would you prefer to throw for 90% in a game but throw 3 picks? Or would you throw for 65% and no picks? What's better? 65% and no picks. So it's really about the consistency across the board. At linebacker, you have 16 tackles or 12 tackles, but had 3, critical missed assignments, or 7 tackles and no missed assignments. What's more valuable? That consistency is more valuable across the board. You're a field goal kicker. You make a 60-yarder, but you miss 3 35-yarders. What's more valuable? The guy that can make the plays on a consistent basis and eliminate the plays that hurt the team. So, so far, so good. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.